Underneath the great illusion of modern ambition lies a painful truth, a truth so simple and so uncomfortable that most will spend their entire lives avoiding it. Hard work alone has never created wealth. It has never built empires, never shaped destiny, never lifted one man above another by effort alone. Effort is noble, yes. Discipline is necessary, yes. But effort without awareness is like a ship sailing furiously in the wrong direction. Movement mistaken for progress. For generations, you've been told that the road to prosperity is paved with sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights. You've been conditioned to worship labor, to wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. You've been taught that those who grind the hardest deserve the most. But pause for a moment and look around. Are the hardest workers truly the wealthiest? Does the man who toils 12 hours in the sun reap greater abundance than the one who spends an hour in reflection, in clarity, in the deliberate shaping of his purpose? History itself answers this question. The great builders of fortune, from Carnegie to Ford to Rockefeller, were not merely laborers. They were thinkers. They understood the subtle difference between working hard and working in harmony with a definite aim. They did not confuse activity with advancement. They harnessed invisible laws of thought, vibration, cause, and effect, while the world around them chased effort like a religion. You see, the tragedy of modern man is not laziness, it is misdirected labor. He runs tirelessly on a treadmill, believing motion equals meaning. He exhausts his body while starving his imagination. He prays to the god of hard work while ignoring the law of right thought. He builds castles of sweat but never learns to build them in his mind first. And this, my friend, is the first great deception, the lie of the grind. It's a lie so seductive that it feels moral. It flatters the ego. It makes you believe that fatigue equals virtue, that burnout equals bravery. But the universe does not reward exhaustion. It rewards alignment. The world bends not to effort, but to certainty of purpose. The man who works with clarity outpaces the one who works with confusion 1,000-fold. Thought, organized and intensified, multiplies power beyond anything mere muscle can achieve. Your hands may build a house, but only your mind can conceive a palace. And until that palace exists within, it can never exist without. I say this not to condemn effort. Effort is sacred when guided by vision. But effort without vision is slavery. The worker who labors without belief in his own dominion over circumstance remains a servant to it. The thinker, however, understands that every stroke of his hand is but an echo of his inner vibration. He works, yes, but his labor is not toil. It is expression. It flows through purpose, not pressure. So if you have found yourself weary, endlessly striving, yet perpetually unsatisfied, understand this. The problem is not your lack of effort. It is your lack of alignment. You have been tricked into worshiping the visible while neglecting the invisible. You've been trained to act without first learning to think. You've been told to hustle for what you could have magnetized. The man who governs his thoughts governs his fortune. And until your thinking is directed by a definite chief aim, your energy will always scatter, like light diffused instead of focused. Focused thought is power. Unfocused effort is noise. Wealth, therefore, begins not in the muscles, but in the mind. It is conceived in stillness, not struggle. It flows to the individual who has learned to think in harmony with abundance, not merely to chase it, but to embody it. Remember this, it is not sweat that builds empires, but clarity. The greatest currency you possess is not time, not energy, not even talent. It is the vibration of your belief, the alignment of your will with universal law. The world does not pay you for your hours. It pays you for your awareness. And when your awareness is right, when your mind becomes a precision instrument tuned to the frequency of success, effort ceases to be painful. It becomes poetic. It becomes the natural expression of a man who knows exactly where he is going. So before you labor another day, ask yourself, am I aligned with what I truly desire, or am I merely busy? Because busy men rarely build legacies. Aligned men do. Every great transformation begins with an invisible shift, a quiet rearrangement of thought, emotion, and belief. The world calls it luck, timing, or coincidence. I call it alignment, the point at which your inner world and the outer world begin to move as one. You see, wealth does not emerge from effort alone. It is born from a subtle order, a harmony between who you are being and what you are seeking. Without that harmony, every strategy collapses like a house built on sand. There exists within you a blueprint, unseen yet absolute. It dictates what you believe you deserve, how much ease you allow, how much abundance your nervous system can hold before it begins to sabotage itself. You can study finance, master skills, and learn markets, but if this internal architecture is misaligned, you will unconsciously reject the very prosperity you pursue. Your mind may shout, "I want wealth," but your energy whispers, "I am not ready." And the universe always listens to the whisper. This blueprint is not mystical. It is psychological, emotional, and deeply practical. It is shaped by the stories you were told as a child, the fears you absorbed from those who lived in scarcity, the subtle guilt you feel when you begin to outgrow the people who raised you. Each memory, each emotion, each belief forms a thread in the fabric of your frequency. Together, they decide how the world responds to you. That is why two men can stand before the same opportunity, one seeing abundance, the other seeing threat. The difference lies not in the opportunity itself, but in the alignment of their inner patterns. The aligned man feels safe with success. His nervous system is trained to receive, to hold, to multiply. The unaligned man, even when handed fortune, finds ways to lose it. His subconscious blueprint cannot yet sustain what his conscious mind desires. When I first understood this principle, I realized why so many struggle endlessly despite their intelligence and determination. They are building castles on faulty foundations, trying to construct a new life upon old emotions. You cannot pour new wealth into a vessel designed for survival. You must rebuild the vessel itself. That rebuilding begins not in action, but in awareness. The awareness of what emotional frequency governs your daily life. Ask yourself honestly, what energy do you bring into every interaction? Is it confidence or hesitation, trust or fear, gratitude or resentment? For these emotions are not fleeting. They are your personal currency. They broadcast your worthiness long before your words do. The man whose emotional field radiates calm certainty commands trust. The one vibrating with need repels it, no matter how polished his presentation. You see, money is not a reward, it is a reflection. It mirrors your energetic readiness. It responds to your inner posture. When you are aligned, when your desires, beliefs, and emotions are unified, the world organizes itself around your conviction. Opportunities accelerate. People appear at the right moment. Life begins to feel as though it is conspiring in your favor. But when you are fragmented, when part of you desires wealth while another part fears it, progress stalls, deals fall through, chaos follows confusion. So I urge you to look inward with the same intensity you once reserved for chasing results. Do not merely manage your time, manage your vibration. Study your thoughts as an architect studies blueprints, for they are designing your future even when you are unaware. Replace self-doubt with self-command. Replace guilt with gratitude. Replace impatience with trust and divine timing. Every great fortune begins with internal alignment, a state in which the soul and the strategy become allies, not adversaries. And when that union is achieved, action becomes effortless. You no longer chase success, you collaborate with it. The invisible blueprint of your wealth is already written within you. Your task is not to create it, but to uncover it, to remove the emotional debris that hides it from view. Once revealed, it will guide your every step with a clarity that makes effort feel like flow and persistence feel like peace. Remember this truth: until the inner architecture is sound, no outer structure can stand. But once alignment is achieved, once your mind, heart, and spirit vibrate as one, prosperity becomes inevitable. Energy is the true architect of every outcome in your life. Long before wealth appears in your account or success takes shape in the material world, it has already formed in the unseen dimension, the dimension of energy. The tragedy is that most people live their entire lives unaware of this governing law. They worship effort, strategy, and grind, yet they overlook the single most powerful force that moves through them and shapes their results: their emotional frequency. Every thought carries a vibration. Every feeling sends a signal. Every belief emits a tone into the fabric of reality, and that tone determines what is drawn toward you and what is repelled. The man who radiates fear, no matter how intelligent or ambitious, will meet circumstances that justify his fear. The man who radiates confidence and ease, even in uncertainty, will witness the world aligning to reinforce that confidence. The universe is not moral, it is magnetic. It simply reflects the energy you broadcast. Think of this as a law of resonance. You cannot tune your life to a frequency of abundance while your emotions are vibrating in scarcity. You cannot speak of faith while feeling like a fraud. You cannot demand wealth while secretly fearing what it might expose in you. Life listens not to your words, but to your energetic tone, and that tone never lies. You can see this law at work everywhere. Two entrepreneurs may launch identical businesses. One thrives while the other struggles endlessly. Why? It is not luck nor superior intellect. It is alignment of energy. The thriving one carries a consciousness of inevitability, an inner calm that whispers, "Success is natural to me." The struggling one carries an undercurrent of doubt, an anxious urgency that says, "I must make this work." That urgency is scarcity disguised as drive, and the universe responds accordingly. When you operate from the vibration of lack, your actions become infused with desperation. Every move, every decision carries the scent of fear. Clients feel it, partners sense it, and even opportunities retreat from it. Yet when your energy is rooted in sufficiency, in the unshakable knowing that you are already enough, you become magnetic. You no longer chase outcomes. Outcomes are drawn to you. This is why so many people remain trapped in cycles of striving. They confuse motion with manifestation. They think that more effort will compensate for misaligned energy, but effort that springs from fear multiplies fear. It tells your subconscious, "I don't yet have enough," and your life obeys that command. It gives you more struggle, more proof of insufficiency, more situations that match your vibration. There's a quiet power that the great masters of success have always known, the power of state before strategy. Napoleon Hill himself spoke of it when he wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." The missing link in that sentence is energy. Belief is not intellectual, it is vibrational. It is not the words you repeat, but the emotional certainty behind them that moves mountains. The science of success, therefore, begins not with doing, but with being. The moment you shift your emotional state, you change the invisible conditions under which every action operates. From that shift, even ordinary effort produces extraordinary results. You may send the same email, speak the same words, take the same meeting, but the energy behind it is transformed, and so is the outcome. This is what it means to work through energy, not against it. The untrained mind labors under resistance, like rowing upstream, exhausted and frustrated. The aligned mind flows with the current, effortless, graceful, inevitable. So ask yourself, what energy am I transmitting today? When I approach my goals, do I carry the calm expectancy of a creator or the anxious hunger of a chaser? When I speak of abundance, does my tone reflect gratitude or grasping? These are not small distinctions. They are the very frequencies that sculpt your destiny. The man who masters his energy no longer fights for outcomes. He orchestrates them. His calm becomes command. His certainty becomes invitation. He no longer begs the universe to cooperate. He harmonizes with it. And in that harmony, wealth flows as naturally as breath. Understand this. Energy is the currency of creation. You can spend it on fear or invest it in faith. You can squander it on resistance or channel it into resonance. The choice is always yours, but the results will always mirror the frequency you choose. So if you find yourself exhausted by endless effort, pause. Stop forcing and begin aligning. Quiet your mind, steady your breath, and remind yourself, my energy is my economy. Because once your vibration matches the wealth you seek, no amount of struggle will ever be necessary again. There's a silent law that governs every outcome, a law more exact than mathematics and more unforgiving than time, the law of alignment. It states that your results will always mirror the harmony or disharmony between your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Most people live in conflict with themselves and then wonder why the universe appears confused in its response. They speak of wealth while feeling unworthy of it. They dream of freedom while fearing visibility. They set goals from logic but act from insecurity. And because creation obeys vibration, not language, their mixed signals return as mixed results. Look around and you'll see this everywhere. Men who read all the right books, repeat all the right affirmations, and yet continue to struggle. They cannot see that they are divided. They chant abundance while their nervous system still vibrates in scarcity. They visualize success while secretly believing they are imposters. The mind says, I am ready, but the heart whispers, I am not safe. And the universe, ever obedient to the deeper signal, aligns itself with the whisper. This is the essence of misalignment, contradiction between what you declare and what you embody. You may speak prosperity into the air, but if your emotions hum with resentment toward those who already possess it, that emotion nullifies your words. You cannot attract what you secretly oppose. The rich are not born from logic, they are born from congruence, complete internal agreement between belief, feeling, and action. When Napoleon Hill wrote of definiteness of purpose, he was describing alignment. He understood that a divided mind cannot create unified results. To think one way, feel another, and act in a third is to fracture your creative power. Energy scattered across contradictions loses its potency. Energy concentrated through alignment becomes unstoppable. Imagine your being as a 3-string instrument. The first string is your thought, the mental vision of what you desire. The second is your emotion, the feeling you associate with that desire. The third is your action, the physical expression of both. When these strings are tuned to the same note, they produce harmony and the sound travels far. But when one is off key, the music of your life becomes noise. Chaotic, confusing, ineffective. Alignment begins with honesty. You must have the courage to confront the gap between your declarations and your true state. If you say you want abundance, do you feel deserving of it? Do you feel safe with it? If you say you want freedom, do you still cling to the security of limitation? If you say you want impact, do you fear judgment from those who witness your rise? Until these contradictions are brought into the light, no strategy, however brilliant, will save you. You must align before you act. Do not move until your mind, heart, and spirit speak the same language. When they do, action becomes effortless. When they don't, every step feels heavy, every result unstable. The greatest misstep is not inaction, it is misaligned action. For misaligned action compounds confusion, deepens resistance, and strengthens disbelief. To correct misalignment, begin within. Bring your beliefs to trial. Question every thought that limits you. Ask, is this belief mine or did I inherit it? Often you'll find that your scarcity isn't self-created, it's inherited energy, passed down from generations who equated virtue with struggle. Release it, replace it, build new emotional associations to wealth, ones grounded in safety, gratitude, and purpose. The aligned man walks through life with a strange calm. He doesn't rush because he trusts. His energy is coherent, and coherence commands matter. When he speaks, people listen. Not because of volume, but because of vibrational clarity. His yes means yes. His no means no. And the universe recognizes that certainty is authority. Alignment, then, is not merely a principle. It is mastery of self. It is the art of becoming whole again. When your thoughts envision prosperity, your emotions celebrate it, and your actions express it, you cease to chase outcomes. They chase you. The world bends to match your coherence. So, before you design your next plan, ask yourself, am I in alignment? Do my feelings support my desires or sabotage them? Do my actions amplify my belief or betray it? For in this alignment lies all power. The moment your inner world becomes one voice, creation has no choice but to echo it. Your entire life, whether you realize it or not, is being orchestrated by a single persistent broadcast. The frequency you emit. It's not mystical, nor is it beyond understanding. It is the natural consequence of how your thoughts, emotions, and nervous system interact. Every human being is a living transmitter, and the universe is the most precise receiver in existence. Whatever you habitually think and feel becomes the signal you send, and the signal you send determines what life reflects back. This frequency is not momentary, it's habitual. It's not the emotion you feel once, but the emotional state you sustain daily that shapes your destiny. You could call it your emotional home. When no one is watching, when you're not consciously affirming or visualizing, that's when your true frequency reveals itself. Most people believe they are manifesting consciously, but their unconscious patterns are broadcasting an entirely different message. They speak abundance while radiating doubt. They imagine success while vibrating in fear. They are trying to tune the radio of life to a station they do not yet believe exists. Consider this. If you wake every morning feeling burdened, anxious, or behind, those emotions are not isolated. They are signals. You're informing the world of what to deliver to you next. You are saying, "Give me more of this feeling." And the universe, ever neutral, obeys perfectly. It matches tone for tone, frequency for frequency. That is why worry breeds more worry, and why gratitude multiplies grace. The universe is a perfect mirror, indifferent yet precise. It has no favorites, it only reflects alignment. To master this science, you must understand that your frequency is programmable. You can train it. Just as an athlete builds muscle through repetition, you build your emotional strength through deliberate emotional practice. Every thought repeated with feeling becomes a groove in the mind, a pathway that the nervous system follows automatically. Over time, that groove becomes your default vibration. The difference between the wealthy and the struggling is that one group has trained its emotional baseline to resonate with certainty, while the other has allowed fear and scarcity to become habitual. This is the silent advantage of those who rise. Their nervous system has learned to feel safe in success. Their frequency is one of already having. They don't chase wealth. They inhabit it mentally and emotionally long before it arrives. They feel deserving without guilt, capable without anxiety, peaceful without proof. And because they broadcast that state consistently, their environment rearranges itself to validate it. Think of yourself as both the transmitter and the tuner. Every time you dwell on failure, replay self-criticism, or surrender to fear, you detune your signal. You drift off frequency. Your power becomes static, scattered, uncertain, weak. But when you discipline your mind to return to calm, to gratitude, to vision, you recalibrate. The static clears. The world can finally receive you clearly again. Many misunderstand frequency as something ethereal, but it is profoundly physiological. Your body is an instrument of vibration. When you think thoughts of abundance, your breathing deepens, your muscles relax, your voice steadies. You radiate confidence, not as performance, but as presence. When you think thoughts of scarcity, your body contracts. You tighten, your tone shifts, your energy withdraws. That contraction is the blockage of flow. The wealthy are not merely positive thinkers. They are energetic realists. They know that emotion either opens or closes the gateway of opportunity. So you must ask yourself daily, what am I broadcasting? Not what I'm saying, not what I'm doing, but what am I feeling? Because feeling is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious is the engineer of frequency. If you feel small, you attract circumstances that confirm smallness. If you feel powerful, the world conspires to reinforce your power. Remember, thoughts are the architects, but emotion is the builder. The stronger the feeling attached to a belief, the faster that belief crystallizes into form. That is why fear manifests so quickly. It is intensely felt. The secret, then, is to train your emotional intensity toward faith, not fear, toward gratitude, not guilt. This, my friend, is the science of frequency. The world you see is not reacting to what you think it owes you. It is responding to the music you're playing. Tune that music carefully. Let your mind be the composer, your heart the instrument, and your actions the echo. When thought, feeling, and movement vibrate in unison, the universe becomes your amplifier. The moment your inner frequency harmonizes with abundance, struggle dissolves, you cease to force and begin to flow. You realize that reality was never withholding anything. It was merely waiting for you to play the right note. Your aura is not an abstract glow reserved for mystics and dreamers. It is the living atmosphere of your being, the unseen field that announces your truth before you ever speak a word. Every person you meet, every opportunity that approaches, every result that materializes, all of it responds to this field. Your aura is your emotional reputation. It tells the world who you are long before your resume or your title ever could. Most people move through life unaware that their aura is constantly broadcasting. They believe that others respond to their words, when in fact others respond to the vibration beneath those words. You have felt this countless times. You've met someone whose mere presence calmed you, who radiated assurance and integrity without uttering a sentence. You've also encountered those whose energy felt heavy, chaotic, or uncertain, and you found yourself withdrawing instinctively. That instinct is not judgment, it is recognition. The aura reveals everything. The wealthy, the influential, the magnetic, they understand this. They have trained their aura as carefully as an athlete trains his body. They cultivate inner coherence, knowing that their emotional state sets the tone of every room they enter. When they walk in, energy shifts. Not because they demand attention, but because their presence is congruent. It carries no confusion, no contradiction. The body is calm, the mind clear, the heart certain. That is alignment made visible. Your aura is fed by what you think, strengthened by what you feel, and polished by what you repeatedly do. Every time you honor your word, your field brightens. Every time you act from integrity, it expands. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, you amplify its magnetism. Conversely, every lie, every resentment, every self-betrayal muddies it. You can dress in elegance and speak with confidence, but if your aura is clouded with guilt, fear, or envy, that energy will speak louder than your words ever can. Understand this. Life is not reacting to your effort. It is reading your energy. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, recognizes coherence as power. It recognizes calm as mastery. It recognizes authenticity as truth. When your aura radiates those qualities, doors open, not by manipulation, but by resonance. People trust you without knowing why. Circumstances align without visible cause. You have not changed the world. You have changed your signal, and the world is simply responding. Think of your aura as the magnetic field around a compass. When it is clear, the needle points true. When it is distorted by emotional interference, doubt, anger, insecurity, the needle spins aimlessly. This is what most people experience: emotional static. They cannot find direction because their field is cluttered with unresolved emotion. They try to compensate with more effort, more control, more logic, yet their energy contradicts their intent. The result is exhaustion without progress. To purify the aura, begin by cleaning the inner world. Forgive what still drains you. Release the grudges that live rent-free in your nervous system. Every time you release judgment, your energy lightens. Every time you choose appreciation, your field strengthens. Every moment of self-respect adds voltage to your presence. You begin to feel different, grounded, expansive, luminous, and the world feels you differently in return. Great leaders do not persuade, they project. They do not chase validation, they radiate certainty. Their aura speaks for them, and its message is simple. I am safe, I am worthy, I am clear. When you reach this state, wealth, opportunity, and respect follow like iron filings to a magnet. You must understand, too, that your aura cannot be faked. It is a direct reflection of your inner consistency. You cannot smile your way to alignment, nor mask doubt behind ambition. The aura listens to truth, not performance. It reveals what you actually believe about yourself, not what you wish you believed. That is why genuine self-work, not surface-level positivity, transforms your life. So, begin to train your aura deliberately. Stand each morning in silence and sense the energy around you. Ask, what am I radiating today? What do others feel in my presence? What does my energy announce before I speak? If you sense heaviness, cleanse it with gratitude. If you sense chaos, ground it with breath. Over time, you will notice that your very presence begins to do the work. Rooms grow quieter when you enter, people open when you speak, and opportunities seem to find you without effort. That is not luck. That is resonance. That is the invisible currency of the aligned. Your aura has become wealth in motion, a living invitation to everything that matches your frequency. The greatest obstacle to wealth is rarely lack of opportunity. It is inner resistance disguised as logic. Deep within most people lives an emotional saboteur, a part of the psyche that fears expansion, mistrusts abundance, and secretly prefers the familiarity of struggle. It is that whisper that says, what if I can't handle success? Or what if I lose it once I have it? This fear of flourishing operates beneath awareness, but its power is enormous. Until you face it, no amount of strategy will save you because the saboteur doesn't need evidence. It needs only your hesitation. This inner resistance is born in childhood. We were taught, directly or by example, that wealth carries danger, that money changes people, that success isolates, that prosperity invites judgment. These lessons sink deeper than thought. They settle into the nervous system. So later, when life begins to expand, the body interprets it not as progress, but as threat. The heart races, the mind doubts, the hands shake, and so unconsciously we find ways to retreat back into safety. The saboteur wins not through force, but through familiar discomfort. The tragedy is that this resistance often wears the costume of humility. It convinces you that playing small is virtuous. It tells you that ambition is arrogance, that confidence is vanity, that wealth will separate you from love. It masks fear as morality, shrinking your potential while convincing you it's the right thing to do. But understand this clearly. True humility is not self-denial. It is self-awareness. It is recognizing your divine capacity and using it in service, not burying it in doubt. Every time you undercharge, hesitate to speak your truth, or delay a bold move, it is rarely logic, it is programming. It is the nervous system trying to protect you from an outdated threat. Somewhere within, a part of you believes that abundance will cost you peace, authenticity, or connection. And until you recondition that part, it will keep pulling you back, no matter how determined you are. To overcome the emotional saboteur, you must stop fighting it and begin educating it. Fear is not the enemy. Confusion is. The mind resists what it does not understand. So teach your body that success is safe. Show it through repetition and self-trust that expansion is not exile. When anxiety rises as you step into higher levels of abundance, pause and breathe. Don't retreat. Reassure. Tell your body, we are safe in growth. We can hold more. Over time, safety becomes your new baseline and the saboteur begins to dissolve. Napoleon Hill wrote, "The subconscious mind will translate into its physical equivalent whatever it is impressed upon it with emotion." If fear is your emotional language, you will continue to manifest the familiar. But if faith, calm, and expectation become your emotional vocabulary, the subconscious will reorganize your world to match it. You cannot eliminate the saboteur by suppression. You outgrow it by replacing its emotional script. This requires radical honesty. Observe the patterns that repeat in your financial life. Do you often stop just before the breakthrough? Do you feel guilty when things get easier? Do you sabotage opportunities with overthinking or sudden fatigue? These are not coincidences. They are the fingerprints of your old programming. They reveal where your energy still identifies with limitation. The cure is integration. When the old voice whispers that success is dangerous, do not argue. Thank it. Say, I understand you're trying to protect me, but I no longer need protection from prosperity. Replace resistance with reassurance. Each time you calm the inner conflict, your nervous system learns that power and peace can coexist. The more you practice this, the more your mind associates abundance with safety instead of fear. In time, the saboteur becomes silent. You no longer swing between ambition and anxiety. You no longer need to force confidence. It becomes your natural frequency. The emotional friction dissolves, and with it, the need for struggle. You begin to experience effort without strain, achievement without guilt, wealth without fear. Understand this. Success is not built by conquering your emotions, but by aligning them. The moment every part of you, conscious and subconscious, agrees that abundance is your rightful state, the war inside ends. And when the inner war ends, life rushes in to fill the peace. That is the moment you stop chasing prosperity and start embodying it. Everything that happens to you, every gain, every delay, every apparent setback, is not random. It is feedback. The universe, impartial and exact, mirrors back the quality of your vibration in physical form. To the untrained mind, this appears as coincidence or luck. To the awakened mind, it is communication. Life is always speaking to you in the language of results. When your energy is aligned, life feels like synchronicity. The right people call, doors open, opportunities appear without force. When you are misaligned, the same world becomes hostile, disjointed, slow. Emails go unanswered, deals collapse, fatigue sets in. Nothing is punishing you, something is teaching you. The universe has no interest in cruelty. It simply returns to you what you radiate so you can correct the signal. This understanding transforms frustration into feedback. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this showing me about my frequency?" Because every outcome carries a message about your inner state. Repetition is revelation. If similar challenges keep arising, scarcity, rejection, stagnation, they are not coincidences, they are echoes. They reflect the emotional tone you keep broadcasting. Napoleon Hill wrote that every adversity carries within it the seed of an equivalent advantage. That seed is awareness. Once you see that reality is reflecting, not attacking, you stop wasting energy on blame. You begin to use circumstances as instruments for calibration. A failed deal reveals hesitation. A strained relationship reveals insecurity. A financial drought reveals an emotional drought. The absence of gratitude, faith, or self-trust. Every external imbalance points to an internal one. Think of the universe as a mirror so vast it surrounds you. It reflects not your wishes, but your truth. If you speak of wealth while feeling unworthy, the mirror cannot show abundance, because it only reflects coherence. To change what you see, you must first change the expression on your energetic face. No mirror can smile back until you do. This law is not mystical, it is mechanical. Energy seeks equilibrium. Whatever vibration you send, the universe must balance it by returning experiences of matching tone. Broadcast fear, and you attract situations that justify fear. Broadcast confidence, and opportunities appear that validate confidence. The world is not against you, it is consistent with you. Once you accept this, victimhood dies. You stop pleading with fate to be fair and begin mastering the signal you control. You stop chasing outcomes and start tuning frequencies. You understand that results are not rewards, but reflections. Honest, immediate, uncompromising reflections of your inner architecture. Every successful person you admire has mastered this loop of feedback. They do not collapse under setbacks because they recognize them as information. When something falters, they ask, "Where have I drifted from alignment?" Not, "Who is to blame?" They recalibrate swiftly, shifting their emotional posture back to clarity and gratitude. And life, true to its law, responds. To live this way requires maturity, the willingness to take radical responsibility for your energy. Most people prefer to outsource accountability to luck, economy, or other people. But the moment you accept that you are the cause, you also become the cure. You reclaim power from every disappointment. Nothing outside you can diminish you without your vibrational consent. The wise man learns to read the language of feedback early. He treats discomfort as a teacher, not an enemy. He interprets resistance as a reminder to refine his belief. He sees loss as a reset, a clearing of space for a more coherent manifestation. The unwise man misreads every reflection as rejection and repeats his lesson endlessly. You, however, can choose mastery. Each morning, observe your life as data. Ask, what is working easily? What feels forced? What repeats? Wherever friction lives, alignment is missing. Bring awareness there. Adjust thought. Adjust feeling. The outer will follow as surely as shadow follows light. Understand this. The universe is not personal, but it is precise. It rewards coherence, not effort, resonance, not noise. When your inner tone becomes steady, when gratitude replaces complaint, when certainty replaces doubt, feedback transforms into flow, the world begins to echo your clarity with its own. So the next time life sends you delay, rejection, or frustration, do not curse the messenger. Decode it. It is not the universe closing its hand, it is pointing the way. Listen carefully. For in every outcome, favorable or not, the universe is telling you one thing. Your frequency has spoken, and I have simply answered. Wealth is not achieved by chance, it is calibrated. The nervous system, that sacred instrument of creation, must be tuned to receive and hold abundance before abundance can stay. Most people imagine wealth as an external event, a business that finally succeeds, a breakthrough moment, a sudden opportunity. But in truth, it is an internal adaptation. You do not stumble into prosperity. You evolve into the version of yourself that can live there comfortably. The human body is a memory field. Every triumph, every trauma, every pattern of struggle has etched itself into your physiology. Your nervous system has learned what is safe, and it will fiercely protect that safety even when it keeps you small. If struggle is familiar, the body equates ease with danger. If scarcity has been your constant companion, abundance feels suspicious. This is why so many people self-sabotage right when expansion arrives. Their system rejects the unfamiliar. They have not yet trained their inner instrument to hold the higher vibration of wealth. You cannot outperform your emotional calibration. You can study harder, plan better, network more widely. But if your nervous system is wired for survival, not success, it will quietly pull you back into what it knows. The body always returns to its baseline. And so, the true work of wealth is not found in spreadsheets or strategies, but in retraining the baseline itself. Begin by noticing your emotional reactions to prosperity. What happens in your body when you imagine earning twice as much, living in more beauty, commanding greater influence? Do you feel expansion or contraction, excitement or anxiety? That physical response reveals your current calibration. Your mind may say yes, but if your body tenses, your frequency says no. You cannot receive what your system perceives as unsafe. To recalibrate, you must make abundance safe. Each time life offers you more money, more recognition, more rest, more joy, breathe into it. Do not rush to deflect with guilt or over-explain your worth. Simply breathe. Let the body learn that ease does not equal danger, that success does not threaten love. In those quiet breaths, new neural pathways are written. Your nervous system begins to normalize expansion. Napoleon Hill often wrote that faith is the only known antidote to failure. But faith is not blind optimism. It is physiological permission. It is the body's agreement with the mind's vision. When faith takes root in the nervous system, action becomes natural and doubt becomes irrelevant. You no longer have to push your way to success. You flow toward it because every part of you is congruent. Consider the difference between a river and a dam. A river flows effortlessly because nothing in it resists the current. A dam, however, builds tension until it bursts. Misalignment does the same. Your inner resistance becomes the dam that stops prosperity's flow. Training your nervous system is the removal of that dam. It is not about forcing the current, but allowing it to move through without fear. Every emotional reaction you experience is a signal of calibration. Anxiety means your system is stretching beyond its comfort zone. Do not retreat. Breathe through it. That tension is expansion in disguise. Gratitude stabilizes the new frequency. It tells your body, we are safe here. The more you pair gratitude with growth, the faster your system adopts abundance as normal. You may notice as you expand that old environments and relationships feel heavier. That's not arrogance, it's feedback. Your vibration has changed, and your system no longer resonates with stagnation. Respect that shift. Surround yourself with those whose energy normalizes success instead of questioning it. Calibration thrives in resonance. Understand this. True wealth is not what you earn, but what you can comfortably hold. Money flows to the person whose energy can sustain its presence. If your system is still coded for struggle, it will release prosperity as quickly as it arrives. But once your body learns that abundance is its natural habitat, you become magnetic. You no longer chase, you attract, because your frequency has finally stabilized at the level of wealth. This is the secret of emotional training. It is not glamorous, yet it is the foundation of every empire. Each breath of calm in the face of growth is a brick in your new reality. Each act of gratitude under pressure strengthens your energetic spine. And slowly, without drama, your nervous system learns to hold what once terrified it. Wealth then ceases to be a pursuit. It becomes a rhythm, a steady pulse between thought and body, between desire and trust. When your nervous system aligns with your vision, abundance no longer arrives in bursts and disappearances. It becomes the background music of your life. That is wealth calibration, the transformation of prosperity from an event into your natural state of being. Transformation without ritual is temporary. The mind may awaken, the heart may aspire, but without disciplined practice, both soon fall back into their former rhythm. This is why the masters of success, from philosophers to industrialists, built their lives upon daily disciplines. Small, precise acts that kept their vibration aligned with their purpose. Alignment is not a single revelation, it is a maintenance of harmony. Just as a musician must tune his instrument each morning, you must tune your energy before you engage the world. There are 3 rituals that, when practiced with intention, begin to refine the aura, steady the nervous system, and polish the mind into a state of calm authority. They are not superstitions, they are psychological mechanics, the invisible scaffolding of all enduring prosperity. First, the emotional audit. Before the noise of the world floods your senses, pause. Sit in stillness and ask a single question. What am I feeling right now? Do not judge the answer, simply observe. Awareness is the first alchemy. If you find fear, resentment, or doubt, recognize that these are not facts. They are frequencies. They do not define you. They inform you. Then ask the second question. Does this emotion serve the version of me I am becoming? If the answer is no, breathe, release, and replace it. Gratitude, even in its smallest form, is the antidote. This ritual trains your consciousness to remain sovereign over emotion, not enslaved by it. The man who cannot identify his feeling is ruled by it. The man who can observe it is free. Second, alignment affirmations. Affirmations, in their shallow form, are nothing but words bouncing off a nervous system that does not believe them. True affirmation speaks directly to the body, not the intellect. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and declare truths that the body can accept. I am safe with success. I am trusted with wealth. I hold power with calm. I expand without guilt. Speak slowly, rhythmically, until the words begin to sink from the mind into the flesh. This practice rewires your physiology to associate prosperity with safety. When wealth no longer triggers contraction, it begins to stay. Third, visualization repetition. Close your eyes each day and step into the future version of yourself, not as an observer, but as the inhabitant. See through his eyes. Feel the rhythm of her confidence, the steadiness of his breath, the serenity of her certainty. Let your body memorize the sensation of already being that person. Do this until the vision feels more real than the past. The subconscious cannot distinguish imagination from experience. What you repeatedly feel, it adopts as truth. Once your body accepts abundance as familiar, it stops resisting it. These 3 rituals may seem simple, yet their power compounds invisibly. The emotional audit purifies, the affirmations reprogram, the visualization integrates. Together, they create emotional coherence, the alignment of thought, feeling, and action into a single vibration. When this coherence becomes habit, outer results accelerate as if by miracle. But it is not miracle. It is mechanics. You have simply synchronized with universal law. Napoleon Hill taught that autosuggestion, the conscious feeding of thought into the subconscious, was the engine of transformation. These rituals are its modern embodiment. Each morning, you plant a seed of vibration. Each evening, you harvest its reflection and experience. Over time, this rhythm transforms your nervous system into an instrument of precision. You no longer react to circumstances. You direct them. There will be days when you forget, when chaos presses hard against your composure. Those are not failures. They are invitations to return to center. Remember, the goal of alignment is not perfection, but recovery. The quicker you can return to clarity after disruption, the stronger your frequency becomes. So, make these rituals sacred. Guard them as fiercely as the wealthy guard their assets, for they are your greatest investments. The time you spend each morning tuning your energy will yield returns that compound far beyond money, in peace, in power, in presence. Because the truth is this: the world does not bend to the man who wishes, it bends to the man who is prepared. Ritual is preparation. It is the act of saying, I will not leave my vibration to chance. And once that decision is made, once your emotional hygiene becomes habit, wealth, opportunity, and clarity will orbit you like planets around a steady sun. Each day, you will rise not to chase alignment, but to express it. And that expression, refined and repeated, will become the quiet power by which you lead, create, and prosper. Effortlessly, inevitably, immovably. Environment is the silent sculptor of destiny. It shapes your vibration, molds your confidence, and either amplifies or erodes the wealth frequency you've worked so hard to build. Most people fail not because they lack intelligence or desire, but because they try to sustain a high vibration inside a low energy atmosphere. They are attempting to grow gardens in poison soil. You cannot broadcast the signal of abundance while immersed in the noise of scarcity. Every thought, every conversation, every environment carries an energetic signature. Sit with complainers long enough and you begin to adopt their tone. Engage with those who gossip and you unconsciously absorb their chaos. Even the digital world you consume, the posts you scroll, the shows you watch, the music you play, is shaping the field around you. Your nervous system does not distinguish between mental and physical environments. It reacts to both as input. The result is predictable. Cluttered input creates distorted output. The signal weakens. The aura dims. Napoleon Hill warned that one must close the door of the mind to all who depress or discourage you. He understood that environment is not decoration. It is data. It programs the subconscious continuously. If you are surrounded by fear-based thinking, you will begin to mistake fear for logic. If you are immersed in small-mindedness, you will mistake limitation for realism. That is why change often feels lonely at first. Expansion requires distance from frequencies that no longer resonate. Examine your environment honestly. Who do you allow near your mind each day? Do they speak of growth or grievance? Do they encourage your clarity or question it? The company you keep either stabilizes your vibration or scrambles it. You must become ruthless with your energetic boundaries. Kindness does not require access. You can love people from afar without allowing their frequency to drain your own. Your physical space matters just as much. Every object in your environment carries emotional residue. Clutter holds indecision. Disorganization holds confusion. A home filled with reminders of struggle cannot support the vibration of success. Begin cleansing your surroundings as you would your energy. Remove what no longer aligns with your future. Surround yourself with symbols of expansion, art that inspires, books that awaken, order that calms. Let your environment become a mirror of your next level, not a museum of your past. Equally important is the digital environment. Guard your attention as a billionaire guards his fortune. Every scroll, every headline, every argument online is an energetic transaction. If you are not deliberate, you will spend your emotional currency on trivial noise. Curate your inputs. Follow conviction, not controversy. Let your feed reflect the frequency you wish to sustain. Gratitude, mastery, elevation. You will notice, as your vibration strengthens, that some people will accuse you of arrogance for protecting your peace. Ignore this. You are not abandoning them, you are honoring yourself. You cannot heal or lead from depletion. When your energy is clear and stable, your very presence uplifts others without effort. That is contribution at its highest form, influence by resonance, not persuasion. Hill wrote, "Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life you desire." That is not elitism, it is alignment. To remain surrounded by mediocrity while aspiring to mastery is emotional sabotage. You cannot vibrate prosperity while tolerating poverty of thought. The two frequencies cancel each other. So, audit your circle. Replace noise with nourishment. Build a sanctuary of clarity, both in space and in companionship. The people and environments around you should remind you of who you are becoming, not who you were forced to be. Let every interaction either strengthen your conviction or inspire your calm. Because the truth is simple, you do not rise alone, you rise in resonance. Wealth, peace, and influence are team sports played in energetic harmony. Protect your field, and the field will protect you. When your environment matches your vision, effort becomes unnecessary. The air itself begins to work in your favor. At that point, prosperity ceases to be pursuit. It becomes atmosphere. You will breathe it, speak it, and transmit it effortlessly because your world, inner and outer, has become one unified signal. And the universe, ever faithful to alignment, will echo that signal in everything you touch. Becoming the signal, that is the final mastery. You have spent years chasing wealth, searching for opportunity, and trying to prove your worth through motion. But the truth, as eternal as the law of gravity, is that wealth does not belong to those who chase. It belongs to those who become. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions merge into coherence, when your inner frequency hums in harmony with the vibration of abundance, you stop seeking and start radiating. The world begins to recognize you differently. Doors that once seemed locked now swing open without resistance. People sense your presence before you speak. Calm, grounded, unshakable. You have become a transmitter of certainty, a living embodiment of prosperity's vibration. You no longer announce your power. You are your power. The world doesn't argue with authenticity. It yields to it. At this stage, alignment is not a technique. It is a state of being. You wake in peace, not panic. You act with clarity, not haste. You are no longer addicted to outcomes because you understand that outcomes are reflections, not rewards. You have already won because you have learned the only lesson that matters. External wealth is simply the echo of internal richness. This is the philosophy that Napoleon Hill devoted his life to teaching, that success is not acquired but expressed. It is drawn forth from within, sculpted by thought, forged by faith, and sustained by emotional mastery. When the inner world becomes ordered, the outer world cannot help but follow. And so, the task before you now is not to chase wealth, but to embody it. Walk as though you already carry it, not because of arrogance, but because of alignment. Speak as though abundance is your native language, for it is. Think as though every opportunity is inevitable. Because when your frequency is right, it is. You are not waiting for the world to give you permission. You are giving the world an example. To live this way is to understand that every moment is a broadcast. Every decision declares, "This is who I am." Every emotion affirms or denies your power. Be deliberate with your signal. When doubt arises, meet it with faith. When fear whispers, answer with gratitude. When opportunity appears, step forward without hesitation, knowing that the universe never offers what you are not ready to receive. Eventually, this alignment becomes effortless. It is no longer something you practice. It is who you are. You walk through the world as clarity embodied, peace personified. You attract not because you try, but because your being itself has become magnetic. That is the summit of the Hill philosophy. The transmutation of thought into power, vibration into form, intention into destiny. But remember, mastery is a living process. Every day, you must renew the signal. Every morning, choose alignment again, gratitude again, vision again. The disciplined mind becomes the liberated mind. And that liberation from fear, from confusion, from doubt is the truest wealth there is. So let this be your declaration. I no longer chase. I calibrate. I no longer beg. I broadcast. I no longer wish. I become. From this day forward, walk as the signal itself, luminous, steady, undeniable. Because when you live in such coherence, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself in your favor. And if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of who you truly are and what you're capable of becoming, then don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson in wealth, energy, and mastery. Most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell me what belief, what fear, what limitation you're ready to release today, because every declaration you make in writing strengthens your vibration in reality. Remember, my friend, the world is always listening to your signal. Make sure it's saying, I am ready, I am worthy, I am wealth.